Mikel, a lot of frustration, a lot of energy tonight. What's your verdict?
Well, disappointed with the results. Obviously, we put so much into the game. It's true that the first 10-15 minutes we struggle to get momentum and to get the dominance that we wanted to find, especially because we weren't very efficient the moment we regained the ball and where we want it, and that caused us a few issues. But regardless of that, they didn't have anything apart from the goal. It's a very individual moment. That's the margins in this level, and after that, I think the team went better and better and better, and disappointing not to get a draw at least.
It was a 26-pass move for Paris Saint-Germain's goal. Do you look at that as great play, or do you look as well at your team maybe being caught out of position a little?
There is always, credit to them because they get out from a situation that is completely closed. It's in the weak side. That's what they do. They bring the line very, very far from the reference of your central defenders, and after that, a lot of things have to still to happen. We have 7 players behind the ball when the ball arrives to wide areas. That's what they do, and they were very clinical. So sometimes you have to just recognize the talent of the position.
There was a great noise throughout tonight, and most of all early in the second half when Marino scores. You just didn't have that lift-off moment.
Yeah, well, that was a great timing, and that's the margin. That's millimeters offside. The action of Martinelli is through one-on-one. The keeper makes a big save. He's done it in the previous games against Liverpool and Villa. Leo Trossard is completely on one-on-one as well, and he makes the save. That's the margins. That's the level in this semi-final.
Thomas Partey was has been such a part of what you've done in the Champions League, and especially in the last tie. Did you miss him tonight?
I don't know. I think Declan, Mikel, they were enormous today.
He'll add something, though, coming back, Thomas, in terms of what he does give you maybe in the balance, both in midfield and in attack.
He gives options. He gives us a different threat as well in the box. With having Mikel the possibility to play him there, he gives us flexibility and options to change the game as well. So it's all good.
So what do you learn from tonight for next week? Listen, I know you'll review the tape, of course, but what do you take sort of instantly about tonight and your feeling for next week?
That is half-time, and we have a big chance to be in the final.
Make it happen, as the banner says.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What about the...
Well, I think emotions are at that level in those kind of matches that it's difficult to analyze a match like that. Very difficult to play, great atmosphere. But I think we show the kind of team we are. We try to play in our way. We scored the first goal in the first 2 or 3 minutes, playing the way we try to play. I'm happy. We suffer a lot sometimes of the match. We could score even the second goal, but I think there is still a second match, and it's going to be very tough.
Do you feel you should have scored more and won by more, or are you grateful to your goalkeeper again?
Well, that's the work of goalkeepers, no? Save the team, they work every single day for that. And we need, in that semi-final, you need all the players at the high level perform, and I think all of them for both teams, all the goalkeepers were great.
Did experience tell today, because you've been in a Champions League semi-final as a manager? Most of your players have been in a Champions League semi-final, but Arsenal haven't been in this situation before.
Well, I think it's not important in that moment when you feel that energy that both teams create into the pitch. I think we need to prepare the second match. It's going to be difficult. The result, it means a little bit of advantage for us. But I think we need to go through that match with same mentality, and we are going to suffer. We know that. And I hope we can, our supporters in our stadium and with our atmosphere, I think we can go through the final. That's our message, but there is still one match.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you.
He's dead right about goalkeepers, isn't he? You don't praise the postman for delivering posts, Shay.
I was with him to breaking the full right green there. Do your job. Make a save. That's your job. That's the Spanish version of Roy Keane.
Yeah,
there,
exactly. Yeah, it's along those lines.
But he is right. I mean, Donnarumma made some big saves tonight.
Luis Enrique is an impressive character. We've talked a lot about the job that he's done this season. Are we seeing the fruits of that now as this campaign develops, that they are the real deal?
Oh, they are, yeah. When you're in possession and out of possession, I think obviously what's held them back for a number of years really is their kind of defensive structure and even mindset, collective mindset, out possession of the football, having to carry players really out possession of football. Mbappe, Neymar kind of spring to mind. I don't think you can do that when you get to the business end of this elite kind of competition. You know, everybody needs to be at it in and out possession. So you really sense this group has come together in a very short period of time, because they weren't, when they first went to the Emirates early in the season, we saw a little bit kind of disjointed, kind of a work in progress. But, you know, 4 or 5 months later, it's you know, they're almost unrecognisable. They're together, they look like a real team. They're working hard for each other, they're backing each other up. They've got real individual quality within the team, but they're digging in for each other and showing a good kind of collective mentality when they need to.
They are a little vulnerable at set pieces. They've conceded a lot of those in their own domestic league this season, and they nearly conceded one today, albeit correctly.
Yeah, I'm really surprised with the line here. As a goalkeeper, like, I would not be happy at all how deep they are. They got away with it because obviously Moreno, as the ball's played, you can see it here, the semi-automated offside picks him up. He's in an offside position. But again, any touch from a forward or even your own defender at this stage, you've got no time to react as a goalkeeper. They're very, very deep. He is offside. That's what it shows you.
It took a while to get there.
But if the line sort of starts higher up, Donnarumma, talk about Donnarumma, 6'7", he just comes and collects that. Because his defence is so deep on him, you know, it's going to cause a problem. And again, second leg, they'll depend heavy on set plays. They've only got, we talked before about the 2 guys at the back, and even Marquinhos is not the biggest to defend. Arsenal have got some big guys that can score goals.
Mikel Arteta usually strikes a fairly positive figure. Here he is.
A mistake, then I think that spreads through the team. You know, the nerves or the tension. Such a big game. He did have a poor game tonight. I mean, he done okay in Madrid actually, and he got a bit of pretty high praise after the Madrid game. But then was it because Mbappe and co weren't at the races? But again, going back to next week, they're still very much in the title. Arsenal, don't get me wrong, but PSG at home are a totally different animal. They really are. They really go for the throat, and I think KVR will be asked some serious questions next week.
Luis Enrique did say pre-match it's a very different PSG team to the one that came here in the league phase and were beaten comfortably in early October. He was right. Here he is.
Luis, well done. You've had some great performances.
On an evening tonight when Paris have gone into North London, silenced a fairly vociferous crowd and won by a 0-0. Can't start speculating that it's a dangerous lead, can we? It's a great lead to have.
Yeah, but it's not secure. Because the good thing is now that, you know, the away goals doesn't count. So you still have an open game, for me at least. I think that they will feel the same thing, Arsenal. They have to also because you lost. But 1-0 is not a certainty.
No, but you'd take it, wouldn't you?
No, yeah,
if you'd said prior to the game,
you take it.
You can leave here with that. Brilliant.
It's a
all
nice,
day long.
yeah,
all day long. But Rudd's right. It's far from over, Kesey. And you know, Arsenal are very capable of going to Paris and winning 1-0, winning in penalties, or winning 2-0. Yeah. They are capable enough of doing that. The one thing that always worries me about this Arsenal side at the very highest levels is they have great players, they have really good players at the top end, but scoring goals at really important times, like Dembele has done this season for them, Arsenal don't have that. They just don't. And even less so now we have Havertz's injury and Jesus injured for such a long time. They just don't have. They have really good players, can play wonderful football, get a few goals, but and when it really matters, have they got that cutting edge? And sometimes I feel at the top level they don't, and that might cost them again in Paris.
Yeah, I mean it's 1-0. I mean, if you've played in this competition, you know how 1-0. It's not a massive lead. So I'm sure Paris they're not overly excited. Yes, 1-0 is it's a massive lead, but I think the problem tonight is Arsenal. They just couldn't get the ball off this Paris team. They control the game from the start to finish, and I don't know why Arsenal they started so passively. It's like they gave them this ball here. Just took 4 or 5 Arsenal players out of the game, and we thought that this pass is tooth, but he's just there.
It was an overhit pass, wasn't it? It's just scuffler of a finish, but it kind of all worked out.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
The ball that was played into Dembele, did they work that?
I saw them. They did that a lot at Villa Park. When Dembele did that at Villa Park an awful lot, Kesey, in the first half. Got a lot of joy from that. You know, I know what you're saying about them starting passives, John, but I just think that they started so well, Paris, that it didn't matter what Arsenal did in those first 10, 15 minutes. They just couldn't get near them because they were that good.
They were very, very good, yeah. Very,
and the goal
good.
obviously rocked Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know, you lose a goal in the first 2 minutes. It does rock you a little bit, and it did.
But that ball there, you can see that this here for me is a penalty.
This is a penalty.
All day
Still
long.
think that's a pen?
All day long.
Still a penalty.
Okay.
All day long.
So does he.
Yeah, but the thing is, he was there.
Yeah.
He can look. He just holds him. He blocks. He blocks him for shooting a goal.
Timber doesn't even know where the ball is anymore.
Look,
There, he wasn't even looking at the ball, Timber. That's my.
You know the referee? He had a really good game, I thought, tonight as well.
Yes.
He got most things absolutely spot on.
I think that's the only one he's missed there.
He's
and
right
he was
there, isn't he?
wide there in
But
front of it as
VAR
well.
also has a saying it, and they said the same thing.
No. Yeah.
But I you know, we were talking about in the beginning of the game. You know, midfield. The midfield of Paris Saint-Germain is so good. It's so good. They're so comfortable at the ball, and it was odd to see an Arsenal who dominates in the Premier League to see them not having a sniff.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, when they play, it's unbelievable. This
That
is also
is a great tackle.
yeah.
That was unbelievably good.
They are so good on the ball, very comfortable on the ball. They pass the ball in tight areas, those three in the midfield. But they're so good on the ball that they control the ball, they know exactly what to do, and they work their socks off. Look at that. That is an important tackle there.
But they all do. Ridge right. The main difference in this team is that the front three, they don't just play up the top end of the pitch. They work their socks back, helping fullbacks. Even Dembele's probably the only one that they allow not to come back. That is a massive save.
Yeah.
Massive save.
Yeah. And I think he sussed it out. He saw him opening himself. He thought he's gonna, you know, pick that corner, and he anticipated it well. And this was, for me, clear offside.
For all of us, really, and it took
Clear
forever to
offside.
sort out.
It took a while. I can understand it because it was
So
a
many
very
players in
important,
there, wasn't it?
an important moment.
So many players.
But you can see it from another angle.
I think
here,
you can
this
see-
angle,
yeah.
you can see it really clear. Here,
I
look,
think it was-
you see only white. Only
I think
white.
it was just Kvaratskhelia that seems like he's played the Arsenal team on, but still it was an offside.
When we saw that,
Still.
Andy, during the game, you said here, would you have the courage to step out?
Yes, I was thinking about the same
I'd
thing.
say
Why would you not do that?
If you know what Arsenal are doing, right? They set up, then they run across you. So if you have a sign, and you say, as soon as they start, just go out 2 yards.
Just go out. Yes, yeah, it's
3
offside.
yards.
Yeah, it's always offside.
Yeah, I think it was Benitez we did that
But
with.
you'd have to be.
Was it?
you know,
Yeah, I think somebody, JT, would scream, blue, something, and then we all ran out, and it was an offside. But
Yeah,
sometimes
just as he's playing it, all go out. The danger is somebody's asleep.
Yeah, it's a bit risky, isn't it? That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
but the thing is, come on, you play against Arsenal, you do only this
Yeah.
against Arsenal.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
You know that.
Yeah.
And by the way, another great
Another
save.
great save. For me, he was absolutely brilliant tonight, Donnarumma. The saves he made, I mean, he's kept this scoreline 1-0. And, you
It's
know,
funny, that is a great save. Do you know that run that we saw Declan Rice make there and play him in? That's the only time we saw him really influence the game at the
Do you
high
think
end
he
of the
missed
pitch.
Partey?
I think they did miss Partey.
But
Yes.
Rice in particular? Yeah.
Yeah, probably, because he allows him to go. Whereas I think with Odegaard,
Oh, what a chance. Oh. Here. Look, this is not easy, but it's still not easy, but he could have done better, you know?
but I mean, I'm sure Partey's back next week, yeah? One game, he missed. Well, so that'll make a difference. That will make a difference to
In
him.
midfield, huh?
Yes, and it'll allow Declan Rice to go forward more as well.
it gives him that
advance.
license to bump forward, isn't it? Yeah. And he likes to do that as well, Declan Rice. I think
I mean,
he
look at
understands.
this.
Yeah.
This is a chance. Look, he scuffed it.
It's a horrible shot.
Come on. Yeah,
It's just wonderful. I don't know whether he wouldn't have been offside. He'd been
offside, huh?
Yeah, he looked upside. Yeah.
Right back's playing him on, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what a chance for.
But still, make the
Barcola.
goal, and then we decide.
Yes.
By the way,
Score.
By the way, there's another one coming up now when Gonzalo Ramos comes in. So both subs had wonderful opportunities. Now he toe pokes this. It was a strange one for me.
Yeah. But I think it was also offside.
No, I don't know.
Which one?
Don't know.
I think so as well. Look at it here.
No, I don't know. I think it's very close. I think
Very close. But okay. But then still, he does
finish it and then argue about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, for him, what happens is, he was hoping for some support,
And didn't
Yeah,
have
he
it.
was
and
looking
there
for
was
somebody
no
to pass the
support.
ball to,
There was no
yeah,
support. So that was the only thing he could do.
And you just wondered whether they would pay for that missed chances. Not an easy chance, but
Yeah. Yeah, this is poor.
I think the tie is not over. I think Arsenal know that, and Paris also know that. I think Luis Enrique is very experienced enough to know that this tie is not over. But the good thing is that Paris, they are very, very good at home. Very, very good at home. So they think this is a big lead for them going into the second leg.
you see, I think Paris will score in Paris. I think they'll score. So I think Arsenal will know going there. I think they'll feel we've got to get 2 at the end of the game.
Look, they know what they have to do. They have to control midfield. But that's the most difficult part. And they can't do it.
No.
They can't do it.
You have to get the ball first.
You have to,
Do you know-
yes.
do you know those
But
three?
you can also press a little bit more, a
Do you know
little bit
those-
better.
But I think if Partey comes back, I think that might be better. Obviously, Declan Rice will have to jump to go and press a bit more. Because tonight you can see he was just sitting there trying to control. But I think when Partey plays, it gives him that license not only to go and press, also when they have the ball, he's that guy with the legs to drive them forward. I think they missed that tonight. You just said it. There was one time when he did that, and he also almost creates some sort of a chance. So I think when Partey comes back in the team, I think this Arsenal side, they are they play much different. Also, Odegaard has more license to be more creative as well. So it's not a done game. This I think Paris knows that, and Arsenal also know that as well.
1-0 on the night. Here's the Arsenal keeper.
The game didn't quite live up to what we were hoping for, but plenty to talk about here. In particular, this week's opinion on Donnarumma, Shay. Sometimes he's the best keeper in the world, other times he's a complete fraud. So where are you on him now?
Love-in. It's a proper love-in now.
Well, he likes playing in England, I know that much, because they're playing against English opposition, because he's played brilliantly against Villa, Liverpool and of course Arsenal tonight. This is the first chance just before half-time. Talk about important saves and moments in the game as well. Imagine Arsenal get an equaliser here just before half-time. That's a great save. I think Martinelli just got caught up. He couldn't get the power behind him, and maybe Donnarumma read that one. But this is a phenomenal save. This is one of the best saves you'll see all season. It really is. And why I say that is because he gets set, watches his position, and then he gets down. We talk about the size of him, the frame of him, and sometimes it's difficult to get down because he is so big. But I love he just gets enough on the hand to get around the post and get away from danger as well, out for a corner. This is probably a more straightforward save. Saka wriggles his way clear, and it's still a very good save at his near post, but he's grown on me, Owen, I'll say that. He's definitely grown on me. He's
Can't grow anymore. I
thought he couldn't get down low, Kenny. You were telling
No,
us
we'll say that. I didn't think he could make that save.
Yeah.
The Trossard save. And he was close in. He was about 8 yards out. Trossard at the edge of the box hitting that.
Yeah.
So that was a brilliant save low down to his left-hand side.
There's nothing wrong with that finish either, really, was it? The Trossard one, he did all what you would do as a striker.
Yeah, go across the keeper. You're kind of hoping if the keeper does save it, he parries it out and someone else taps it in, but to touch it round the post like that and stop the.
It was interesting to see just the build up to that chance with Declan Rice marauding forward like that. We did peg before the match the fact that wouldn't be happening as much, and it probably didn't, but that was a rare enough sight.
It was an isolation, it was such a shame. We spoke about it. These are the ramifications of not having Partey in the team. He had to pick and choose his moments in terms of when to get up the pitch. We can see how he affects the game when he dries out from that central midfield area, and that's going to be key in the away leg at PSG. You have to give him that freedom to make those decisions to get the team up the pitch.
PSG have thrown away much bigger leads than this. They nearly did it against Aston Villa in the last round, so it is still alive in the second leg, thanks partly to a couple of chances they missed late on.
Yeah. When after the Arsenal chances, PSG kind of grew into the game. Barcola came on fresh legs, and he just lays it off, moves inside, does a 1-2 with Ramos, and he's in. And you're just thinking, slotted, and he kind of drags it past the post. I likened it to Lukaku finish, but Lukaku always found the bottom corner. It just slipped past the post, and you're thinking, Arsenal could come back here. It looked like one of these games was dead and gone. And Saliba stops here, plays the offside, and then just lets him have a finish. It's a strange finish, I think. I think he it's good if he's got no time, but he had plenty of time to try and slot it around. Unlucky to hit the crossbar to get so much height off his toe, but you know, he's a better striker than that. He should be finding corners.
It's a big worry though. 40-yard straight ball over your 2 centre halves. He has time to take a touch, have another touch, have a look, see who was around him, and then decide to take the shot on. That's a massive
The only thing he would say is because there's such big chances and they're late on, one's 83, one's 85, massive chances within the tie. I mean, the 2 ties. If one of them goes on Arsenal, for me, you're gone. So Arteta looking at that goes, we're still very much in the tie. We've still got an outside chance. Go on.
Oh, that was a bit of a contradiction in there. Very much in the tie with an outside chance.
Is that not the same thing? What I'm saying
that
is
sounds like a bit of the opposite. I know what you're saying.
No, but
I think they're struggling.
If it's 2-0, then it's
yeah,
you know,
absolutely. You're right. 2-0, it's over. You're right. I think
especially going out to Paris as well. I think it was vice versa. If they had went to Paris and got a 1-0 defeat out there and gone back to the Emirates next week, you'd be going, they've got a good chance.
Well, I think certainly Arsenal are going to have to do a lot more than they did tonight. We can have a look at some of where things went wrong. You could have picked out probably 20 of these clips, Kenny.
Yeah, just generally in terms of the quality of their pass and the combination play, that little bit of individual quality at times. Odegaard, we know how good he is in these areas, shifts it on the inside. Trossard just doesn't see the picture there. Again, Marino's trying to force a ball on the inside there that's not on. Should be just popping that to Martinelli. Wrong decision. Again, Odegaard sweeping it out to Marino. That's not good enough there. Again, just lend the ball. Look at Martinelli on his outside shoulder. Just played into his feet. He's driving towards the 6-yard box there. Even Saka, we spoke about, he always makes the right decision in these situations. Should really play timber early. When eventually he does, it's a poor quality pass. So too much of this, 1 or 2 or 3 during the course of the game. Fair. Look at Rice here, absolutely phenomenal. I expected anyway to get that shot off 1-2 touch, and even then Martinelli could do better. So too much of that during the course of the game kind of really restricted him in terms of creating that kind of sustained pressure and creating those clear-cut opportunities over the course of the 90 minutes. Weren't at their best.
The best piece of quality all match arguably happened very early on with the PSG goal. Shane.
Yeah, we said before how quick they are, how dangerous they are on the break. Very similar actually to the Liverpool goal a few weeks back. Dembele drops into the space, picks it up, and now look at what strikes me big time is the amount of numbers they commit forward. They're away from home. Start of a game, you think keep it nice and tight away from home. Look at this brilliant ball from Kvaratskhelia. I mean, I think Dembele gets a bit lucky actually with the finish in the end.
Oh, come on, you and Kenny are saying that.
It's a scuffer, Owen. It's a scuffer.
No, I do, but what I would say from a goalkeeper's point of view, Kenny, is Owen, is really difficult to actually save because he scuffs it right into the corner and it goes in off the post. Like I give Raya absolutely no chance at all. But for me, that could actually go anywhere. But he scuffed it into the ground. 2 or 3 bounces on the way through.
Talk some sense into them, will you?
Yeah. It's one of them. You could strike it 20 yards over the crossbar or scuff it into a corner. I think all that's going through his head is keep it down, and to drag it into the corner like that, the keeper had no chance.
Yeah, but he can't have that much space. It's as simple as that. Declan Rice gets dragged over towards the ball, 2v1 against Kvaratskhelia. That's understandable. So where's the next player? Somebody has to be recognising where the danger is. And again, I make the point about the absence of Partey. Probably won't get mentioned too much in the lead up to that goal, but somebody with more of a defensive mentality, who can sense danger, who recognises where the danger is, I think gets out there early to Dembele and maybe gets a block.
What about this goal that Shay mentioned there, the one against Liverpool, that there was shades of it in the goal there tonight?
Yeah, exactly. More than shades of it in terms of how they played out. Have a look at it. This the Liverpool game. Mendes again in possession. Again, there's that kind of diagonal ball into Dembele. On this occasion, it's Virgil van Dijk who could step in. He doesn't. Takes the step back, and look how quickly again PSG get the edge of the Liverpool box. And we know what happens here again. Ball ends up at the back of the net. So very similar. Now, would have Arsenal have looked at that? Yeah, I'm sure they would have done, but it's not easy. On this occasion, the Arsenal game for me, Kivior couldn't step up. He was pinned by Neves. Martinelli was the one for me, had to recognise it, narrow up and get in contact with Dembele. But you'd have to give a bit of credit to PSG in those situations. They're making the pitch big. There's plenty of rotation, and you have to react to that quickly. You have to see the danger, and you have to attach yourself to a man very quickly. Any type of indecision in terms of Martinelli and even Van Dijk in that game, do I stick, do I go? I'm not too sure. That's a killer. They've played the ball, they're turned, and immediately they're on the edge of your box. That's how good they are.
Are you surprised that happened so early on? Or maybe is it more likely to happen early on before Arsenal are set for it?
I mean, it's probably a game plan for PSG. It's a hard ball to defend because your midfielders are pushed onto their midfielders. There's that big space in front of the back four, and Kivior and Saliba, it's tough to push out on the striker there. They probably should do it, but they're probably thinking we'll retreat here, we're safe, we've got 4v2, he can come on to us and we can press him from here.
We showed the missed chances there late on in the game, but they could have taken a bigger lead into the second leg if they'd been given a penalty that Shay thinks they should have been given, PSG. Kenny very much thinks they shouldn't have been given. I didn't get a chance to ask you about this, Shane. What do you reckon? Penalty or no? Whose side are you on is what I'm asking.
I'm a striker, so I'm saying it's definitely a penalty, but I do think it's a penalty. I think he gets done here, he's not even looking at the ball, he's just blocking the man because he knows he's done. He doesn't know Rice is behind him, and yeah, he's out of the game.
I don't think you can give a penalty because they're not looking at the ball. I don't think that's an offence, not looking at the ball.
He's blocking the man, he's out of the game. Look, he's facing the wrong way. There's no way he's getting there. He's blocking the man, and the referee's got a great view. He's not giving it, but once he doesn't give it, it's not going to be overturned.
Still think he's entitled to impose himself physically there. Tim Bryan, he's in trouble, absolutely right. Defensive instinct, his arms comes out, but he doesn't do enough there for me. If he gets hold of his jersey, if he holds him and actually impedes his forwards and momentum a little bit more, I think it is a penalty. I think he let go of him just enough in time.
I would 100% say if the ref gives a penalty, there's nobody in VAR going to go, you got that wrong. There's a serious mistake by the referee. I think if he gives the penalty on the pitch, it's stone.
But why didn't they give the penalty then? It was such a bad decision.
Because they've got the probably comfort blanket of VAR, and they think, well, if it's that bad a decision, then they can help me.
If it's that bad a decision, you give the penalty. You tell the referee you've made a wrong decision. It's a penalty. They haven't done that. Why haven't they done it?
Because he's gone with
he doesn't think it's a penalty.
Because they've raised the bar and they've gone with the on-field referee.
Raising the bar.
Yeah, could be that. Right. But I tell you what, the UEFA delegate tonight is Pater Ryan, an Irishman.
A lot of effort tonight. What's the verdict?
Well, they started very quick with a goal, and I thought they dominated the first 15-20 minutes, but after that I thought we dominated most of the game. We created the chances. Donnarumma made some brilliant saves, and it's only half time. We take a lot of positives from this. We know they are a top team, but credit to the players for the effort that we put on the pitch, that we could have won the game as well.
Were you caught a little bit cold with the goal? It was a 26-pass move. They seem to get through very easily.
Well, we know they keep the possession a lot, and they're really, really good at that. And obviously they had that chance and they put it back in the net, and obviously that went for them, and that's just football, and we had the chances to score, but we didn't manage to put the goal.
Well, you put the ball in the net just after half-time. The margins were so tight. You didn't have that lift-off moment. You heard the roar of the crowd when Arsenal scored. Just needed that lift-off moment tonight, didn't it?
Yeah, I've not seen the goal back. Well, the disallowed goal from Mikel, but we needed that. I think we needed that lift, and we showed from the 20th, 25th minute from the first half that we can win against any team, and we showed this season that we can win in an away game as well. So we're going to go to Paris next week to win the game.
Did you lose a bit of balance, do you think, with no Thomas Partey? I mean, having looked so good against Real Madrid, just did it affect things not only in midfield but in attack?
Well, we know how important Thomas is for us, but luckily enough we have a good depth in midfield and in the team that everybody kind of stepped in, and obviously it was Declan who played as a 6, and I think he showed a great game as well. He was really, really good on the ball, and I think everyone was really good today.
It's make it happen, the Champions League motto. You've seen it. It was there on display tonight. So how do you make it happen next week?
Just try to approach the game the same way. I thought we played really, really well, and we put them in the back foot. We hurt them a lot. I know they created their chances as well, but that's part of football. But we created a lot of chances as well. So just approach the same way, and we know we can win against any team.
And of course, it could have been a lot bigger, 1 goal bigger, the PSG margin, but for a great save by yourself in the first half.
Yeah, I'm there just for the team, to try and help the team as much as possible. And luckily enough, I managed to save the ball, and I'm just happy with that save. So just let's go next week against Paris, and in Paris, and then let's win the game.
Thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
He was at one time our very own Paul Robinson's boot boy.
Was he really? Oh, Robbo taught him well then, eh?
Well, yes. Robbo taught him everything he knew.
Good lad. Well done, Robbo.
Well done. Now then, there's been a Dutchman or two made an impact in this competition down the years, has there not? We're with one tonight. Here's another who played for Barcelona in the final, I think back in 2006. Speaking ahead of the game tomorrow night between Barca and Inter.
Our studio, ahead of the Barcelona match, we have a certain Mr. Ruud Gullit.
Oh, Ruud. Ruud, normally we are in Holland together in a TV show. Now you always travel to be in, and I think you play also a little bit golf. But happy to see you. I try to find the be-in broadcasting, but it's not easy in Holland. But I heard a lot of good things about you. Hope to see you soon in Holland again. Take care. Bye, Ruud.
Thank you. Why was Ruud such a special player in his time, and what were your special memories with him?
No, I'm a Dutch guy, of course.
Yeah.
And in the late 90s, Van Basten, Rijkaard and Gullit were playing at AC Milan. And every Dutch guy was for Milan because they were playing there. And I think Ruud was also a national team. They won the European Cup in 1988. After that, they won the Champions League with Milan a couple of times. It was an idol for me. Very big player, and also a very, very nice person. You hear it a lot, but it's really true. So I was watching him and enjoyed it. Especially the whole AC Milan team with Baresi, but of course the Dutch guys. And Inter Milan had the German guys, the 3 German against the 3 Dutch guys. So that was also a hell of a fight. But I was a fan of Ruud. I didn't told him. Now I'm telling him, of course. But it's really nice guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to tear up.
Yes, I'm you know,
That's
blushing
nice.
a little bit because it's.
I agreed with everything he said apart from he's a nice guy.
No, I like Van Bommel because I followed him in my career. These are the players that is the jigsaw in a team. They do the work that other people don't want to do. It's the hard work in the central. Mikel are the same.
The same, yeah.
And they don't get all the credits. They get the credits from the players.
The water carriers, he calls us.
No, it's not a water carrier.
Ah, that's what he calls us.
No, I don't. No. These are the players that you need.
I'm only quoting Eric Cantona when talking about Didier Deschamps. That was the job he
Yeah,
said
but it was
he
in the
did.
old days.
And
That was in the old days.
I think there are different levels of water carriers.
Yeah, there are good water carriers.
There are very good, and Van Bommel was one.
Depends on the liters they have to carry. No.
And he probably set the benchmark, and then you come down a level, and then you get here.
Let's say the position has changed from when we when he played,
Has
when
it?
we played.
How has it
Of course
changed?
it's changed. Now they have more license to go forward, isn't it? To get goals, create chances.
You don't want
and
them
they're a bit
to.
more
You want them to give the ball to someone who can play.
When we played,
Well, that's
when
usually
we
what the
played,
job is.
Mourinho used
So
to
it's like a
scream from the
goalkeeper, you
touchline.
say. If you can't play, you play as a 6. No, that's bad. That's bad. That's what he says.
That's what it is.
That is what he says. No.
Sorry, we talked over that. Mourinho said what?
Of course, he used to scream from the touchline. You can't. There's no way you. Sometimes when you go above the middle and he's there.
Don't go over the
screaming,
line.
You can't, and you really can't. And of course, you've got John Terry right behind you, screaming at you, saying, "Where are you going? Stay there." Because you obviously have the likes of Frank Lampard, Michael Ballack, Didier, Mike Lesson. They're all bumping forward at you. You can't.